and that is where the bank is that you're banking at. All you have to do is go in and close your account and go down the street and open an account with somebody else, another bank, that doesn't have an office in the United States. So it's kind of, you might say, full of holes. But the very fact that they try to pull this shows you that the 2,700 pages of legislation, which obviously no congressman read, has a lot of other things in it that are reprehensible. And another one is that it allows the government to microchip everybody. And I don't think Americans are going to be very happy about that. And so that could cause real problems in America. They make an announcement, well, everybody's going to have a microchip. Half of the people are going to go berserk because we already know they cause cancer, if for no other reason. And, of course, that means the government can track you anywhere. You know, they have a chip in the new passport since, I think, last June. And all you have to do is put a sleeve over the passport, and they can't track it. You know, anything that's done with technology, there's always a counter technology somewhere. But anyway, I thought I'd mention that.
Yeah, and for those of you asking, I want you all to know that I've had several articles on my News and Views, as Bob has had some articles on his newsletter about people and the possibilities of microchipping and chipping people. We actually, on one of my News and Views, I actually have a preacher here in Arkansas that says that he wants everybody in his congregation to have a chip. I mean, how ludicrous can you be when the preacher comes out?
Why don't you send them to Washington?
I keep telling them, says, okay, we'll send them to Hades just as fast as we can. I have a question here that came in. I've got a ton of questions here, but I have one just from the local chat room on Blog Talk. Drew, can you ask Bob where we can find a good website that ranks the good and the bad and the smaller, independently, non-crooked banks, or is there such one?
Yeah, there's a bunch of them, and what you should do is email me, and Judy will send them out to you. And, you know, you can get different ideas from different rating services. And so the email address is bob at intforecaster, FORECASTER.com. Bob at intforecaster.com.
And ladies and gentlemen, his email address is on my News and Views every Thursday. It's also archived on the website. You can pick it up just about any time. Just call him or email, or call him on the phone and they say, hey, Bob, I lost your email. Or just send him the email there at bob at intforecaster.com. Mr. I want to get over here to a question that I just saw. Mr. Chairman, do you believe the United States income tax is nothing more than an American servitude, that every American who's filing the IRS forms are really in servitude to some other people that really aren't in control?
Well,
really
they are in control,
really are in control.
And I disagree with the federal income tax. I believe it was never legally passed. And but don't you go trying not to file, because they'll throw you in jail. And they did that to several of my friends who decided to challenge the United States government. And one of them was Alan Stang, the writer, who spent 3 years in federal jail in California.
And ladies and gentlemen,
See, the courts are rigged. The courts are rigged because they don't use the Constitution.
That's true. Now
they're essentially using British maritime law, and they don't care what you think, and they just do what the government tells them, and let the chips fall where they may. We don't have a judicial system. We have a bunch of bad people. Not all of them, but most of them. In fact, there's a tape in my next issue coming out on Saturday. There's an attorney who used to be a top attorney with the Justice Department, and he filed a suit in Los Angeles to prove the judges were being paid off by politicians, and people in the L.A. City Council, I think it was, are getting kickbacks. And it's been going on for years because I knew about it, but I couldn't do anything about it. And how I knew about it is that people in the district attorney's office, who I knew quite well, told me about it. In fact, one of them was Johnny Cochran, who's since died several years ago. He was O.J. Simpson's attorney, and I think he was the number 2 or 3 guy in the department, and a friend of mine was a very good friend of his. That's how I knew him, and that's how I knew what was going on, and that's how I knew how corrupt the judges were. I mean, some of the judges I met were drug addicts, alcoholics, perverts. I mean, I was astounded. And these guys knew the judges because, the cases came up before them, and they'd tell me on the QT, what the guy was about. And of course, I'd never say anything. And, but, they had to act like they didn't know what was going on. But anyway, that sort of stuff has been going on not only in L.A., but in many other cities for many years. And so the judicial system, to a great extent, is corrupt.
Understood. What's the question?
In fact, I was on WVOM in Chicago, which is a black radio station, and it's the biggest, I guess, in the country. And Charles Butler, I go on with him once in a while at night, and he was a good friend of Johnny Cochran's. In fact, I was on the other day with Satina Jackson, who they called the queen of talk radio during the day, and she's very nice. They have a lot of fun on those stations.
Understood. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you out there that are sending me private messages, there's about 4 of you, and I can't get to the questions that are coming from other links. If you're constantly sending me private messages, if you can, just stop for a minute and hold off and put those. If you've got something on the Blog Talk Radio Network, put it down there and for everybody to see it. I can live with that. I can see those. I really do. But those that are in Blog Talk Radio and you're sending those private messages, you are interfering with my screen, and I'll have to just kill the chat room because you're killing all the other chats from everybody else. And that's where some of the questions are from Marines around the world. I really appreciate it. I really do. But the private is something it interferes more than it does when you guys just constantly send me private chats. I stand by. I mean, a couple of you, especially one of you is a personal friend, and I love her to death. But she, hers does not bother me as much as the other 4 of you do. And I'll get to your questions if you'll just put them there in the main chat room. Going to the questions from a Marine, Mr. Chapman, I own my physical gold, and I'm not about to sell it, as I've bought it listening to you on this program. However, I'm hearing news people telling you to buy gold, and my banker is telling me to put it in a safety deposit box in his bank and not at home. I bought $12,000 worth of junk silver last month, and my banker literally wanted me to put it in a safety deposit box after I told him I was putting it in a safe in my house. And I told him he could take it and stuff it, that I didn't trust him, and he looked at me like I was crazy. Am I crazy, or am I doing the right thing by keeping my gold and my silver in my possession in my vault?
Well, I won't let it out of my vault, so you shouldn't either. And I have a gun safe. And once you put the silver and the gold and other valuables in there, like AKs and ARs and those things that are necessary for life, and you get, a pile of ammo in there along with the clips, you're up to 800 or 1,000 pounds. So I don't think anybody's going to haul it away. And also, the days of safe crackers are gone. They're all dead. And so you don't have to worry about that. And I'm sure that you always have a weapon or two or three or four distributed throughout the house